Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates and the such, I usually go about on Twitter X. And yesterday, I did manage to publish a Callisto Protocol episode, and tomorrow will be another one. Just a quick reminder that I already have a lot of stuff here on the main page of the channel. But yeah, other than that, let's go to the news. It seems that uh, we are going to have the same kind of issues with the 50 series regarding melted pin connectors. Again, I already hammered this in many episodes, and it's a stick point for me. When you have a design that basically induces or when induces user error to damage your stuff, you have a huge design flaw on your hands, and I never liked from the beginning, since I saw the design specs and how supposedly this cable can handle 600 watts of power. And then we saw and we continue to see, as I follow up from some repair shops YouTube channels, of Northbridge Fix and PC Part Fix or something like that. There are at least a couple or three channels, I don't remember their names, I'm sorry, where they continue to have on a monthly basis, at minimum, 10 to 20 GPUs to replace connectors because they're metal away. Again, this is a flawed design. I think they are with even with this revision that they did, which was a very small one, which was regarding sense pins. I think shortening them. By the fact that if the connector is not well connected, which by itself it's absurd by itself, it doesn't deliver the full power, so it doesn't induce the melting thing situation. But yeah, I continue to say that this is not a good design. NVIDIA continues to go forward with this design, especially on the 5090, which basically utilizes almost the full range of the 600-watt power there. And the fact that even the physical connection, the wiring, and the physical connectors themselves, I think they still deliver too much resistance. And I don't think the cabling itself, the gauge of the cable, which is the thickness of the cables and everything, it's not the proper one to handle this kind of wattage, and the fact that also the connector itself, the plastic thing here, it's very small, delivers a lot of resistance on the connection, especially on the connector to the GPU side of things, because the GPU is demanding power by itself, so it heats up a lot. And again, I think they really need to, I don't know. I think they really need to change this up, or else we will continue to see, and this kind of situations we're already seeing on 5090Ds, 5090s, and I will assume 5080s will have the same issue, but to a lesser extent because they utilize less power. But yeah, we got here some guys doing testing on the 50. I think it was, it says here 5090, 5090D, no, 5090D, sorry, 5080 and 4090. I will assume they were doing tests to make charts to compare the performance between all of those cards. They had a 1000-watt power supply, and in their specific case, there were metal cables, but the GPUs didn't go off or got ruined. At least that's my perception. Only the PSU did. They had to replace the PSU there. But yeah, the fact that even in these articles, from sometimes they excuse this kind of damage as user error. Again, when you have a design that induces user error to the point that even when there is kind of a user error on melting, uh, 2000 plus kind of pieces of hardware out of nowhere. I don't think this is a good philosophy. You, I never saw any kind of news or any kind of post or any kind of mentions of this happening with what we have with the PCIe, sorry, PCIe PCIe or PCI Express, the 8 pins and the 6 pins. We never saw anything like this happen, because they overspec the connections and the cables by themselves. So they have a huge high tolerance on any kind of load that you can put on those cables. That's why we never saw this kind of situation happen on the older connectors, let's say. And with this, again, the when I saw the specs and the comparisons with the previous PCI Express cables and specs, and the level of tolerance that they have regarding loads and even the physical connection. Again, we got the little thingy that clips on the connector itself, so you know exactly when you hear that click, you know that there is no way of being badly inserted pins with the previous PCI connectors. Here you have an issue. You don't have this kind of safety features, and even the tolerance of the specifications of this kind of system. It was a bad design, and it seems they don't want. I think they are doubling down, and at this case, we are basically tripling down on stupid designs. And I'm assuming we're going to see a lot of this continue to happen until somebody reaches and I don't know. I don't know how this thing can be like law class action lawsuit or something like that, because to a certain extent, I think because manufacturers and AIB partners, to a certain extent, in certain conditions, they accept returns of these kind of situations. But I don't think it's the best way to go about it. The best way, again, to go about it is, I think they have to do an overall redesign of these connections. And if this continues like this, the fact that you're going to have probably two PCI 12 by 6, 6 by 6, whatever they are calling now, or 6 by 2 pins here to use on next gen GPUs. I don't think it's going to solve the issue, because I think we will start getting, instead of having one connector be able to be damaged, it's going to be two. It's only going to double down the probabilities of you getting a damaged GPU. And I think they really need to rethink this over and really put some effort on having something in the lines of kind of the overall tolerances and the safety features that the PCI Express 8 pins and 6 pins have still. But yeah, we are going to continue to see this. And then with the GPUs here, the 50 series, we are having issues that GPUs are getting bricked. BIOS and PCI issues are arising, and it goes again. The complaints here are mainly from Chinese market. Again, I will assume they had a lot of more inventory to go through, so I think that's why we are seeing more cases from the Chinese market, because it's a bigger market by itself. So the laws of probabilities, anything that happens when you have more inventory there and users going around, things will pop up more easily, especially with the 5090s and 5090Ds, cards being bricked. And I think this is happening, at least so far. I think it's also because of the AIB partner, Colorful and Manly. They are very specific regions on Asia market. So that's why we are seeing a lot of these AIBs, GPUs bricked, even though there are supposedly a few reports of gigabytes 5090s D also getting bricked. And basically, the problem seems to be after installing the latest drivers, basically the card gets doesn't get the screen goes black, no longer recognizes by the Windows system. Even trying to check both DisplayPort and HDMI interface, nothing happens. People try to clear the CMOS, didn't happen anything. Again, this is very troublesome. Again, having a paper launch with few GPUs, and those few GPUs are having issues all over the place. Again, this is not good. And there is also a probability that this might have to do with PCI lanes, how they are used, by the fact that supposedly this is the first GPU that is compliant with the PCI Express 5 interface. and it might be one of the triggers of this situation, but we don't know for sure. Again, somebody will have to investigate this, but then again, by the fact that the price of the GPUs are very high enough, I think getting out of the pocket expenses to try investigate the situation and troubleshooting and trying to replicate the issues, it's a little bit expensive for a single person to do something like this. But the power, I didn't see this video yet, but it seems that you can avoid some issues here and there. Again, I don't think he had any kind of brick GPU, but I think there were some issues here and there. But he didn't manage to mitigate them to on the BIOS, on the PCI interface. There is an option there. Any change from 5.0 to 4.0, which basically I don't think on the 5090 gives any kind of performance hit to a certain degree, and if it is, it's negligible. But I think the fact that the GPU and the rest of the system, mainly NVMEs that use PCI Express 5 connections, the fact that there might be an issue there, the fact that I don't know if something is getting corrupted there between the hard drives and everything. But then again, if the GPU it's not even recognized on the NVIDIA app, on device manager or anything, sometimes not even on the BIOS, it doesn't recognize any kind of GPU. This is not good news. Again, it's a botch launch. People were again waiting for in line, getting themselves in a situation to get in a lottery to have a chance to buy a GPU. The GPU prices are not at the MSRP for sure. Above $2,000 for GPU that or else gets his connector melted or again gets bricked by installing the GPU drivers. Other than that, when you have a new GPU, when you if you need to install drivers, the best way to go about it, especially when you have a new GPU, is to uninstall the drivers and clean any kind of registry there. Rev uninstaller, I think, or no, DDU uninstaller, something like that. It's the driver display drivers uninstaller. It's a software that uninstalls everything, and then you have to install the new drivers. Usually, it prevents this kind of situations, but yeah, it doesn't justify the fact that if you're changing, just upgrading from NVIDIA GPU, something like this happens. Again, I don't know what happened there. I will assume, I don't know, in a couple of days or weeks, we will see somebody investigate the situation or having any kind of official word from NVIDIA or any DIB partners, because we don't have supposedly any kind of official confirmation what the issue is. But yeah, people already returning the GPUs there because again, if it is in unusable state, just because you just install some drivers, again, it's not suitable for you for a person that spent more than $2,000 on a GPU to have it break because you just installed the drivers there. But yeah, it's not looking good for NVIDIA. Hopefully, the fact that AMD is delaying the launch of their own RDNA 4 GPUs will solve or mitigate any kind of launch issues similar to these ones. Hopefully so. But yeah, NVIDIA is not looking good with this 5090 and 5080 launch cards here, especially on the higher end when you have 2000 plus pieces of hardware just failing through, given to software issues or even hardware issues with the case of the melted connectors already. But yeah, in terms of hardware, this is it. In terms of gaming, we got Rockstar. Again, unlike the Dan Houser, which was one of the co-founders of Rockstar Games with his brother, it seems I think I covered this a couple of months ago at least, when he is basically launching I don't know, multimedia universe, let's say. I think it's the best description here. Because he wants to do from audio podcasts, like comic books also. I think animation is also in his mind, and also some gaming. inside this universe, which is called Absurdaverse, which is very interesting. Again, don't forget it was Dan Houser and his brother that did and work and were like the main brain juice behind the almost all the hits that Rockstar gave until Red Redemption 2. Dan Houser was, I think, the creative director there, and also GTA 5 lead writer, at least, which is again, those games are very high regarded for their writing and how they go about the story. Especially Red Dead Redemption 2, it's more narrative focus than GTA 5, I think. Never played both, but again, everybody likes those games. But yeah, he announced this. It's a very interesting cast of characters. So we don't know exactly what this is. Comes from we got here Vikings, dwarfs, and I don't know, huge cast of characters. Again, I will assume it's going to be a little bit hectic, in line with the GTA kind of characters that we are accustomed to see, at least until GTA 5. The art style is very similar to those, which is also very interesting. So I think we have kind of a tone set to a certain degree. And the tagline basically is prepare to meet some new kinds of heroes and watch them suffer, which is very interesting. But yeah, this IP will be introduced with animation projects that will be released later this year. So it's good to see. And supposedly the studio is working on an original story-driven action comedy adventure game that will also be taking place in this universe, but no further details regarding this project were shared. Again, um, uh, this project was started just a couple of years ago, so and the studio was founded a couple of years ago, so we will not see at least any kind of game more details. I think in the next couple of years or so, we might have some details on that. But yeah, I like to see what they are cooking here, because again, they were the masterminds. Him and his brother regarding the most famous games from Rockstar Games, from LNA, sorry, LA Noir, the Bully game. There again, they especially in terms of writing, it's very interesting, and I think even Dan Houser went away, left Rockstar Games. Supposedly it was after a break, an extended break, but I think there were some rumblings of accusations and all that jazz regarding him. Again, he doesn't seem to be a guy that conforms too much on, especially on corporate structure, because the sense that I have from him is a very creative guy, so he's willing to take chances. And some people don't like chances because it's like getting out of line in a certain way. But yeah, hopefully we will see more details by the end of this year regarding at least some animations, so we have an idea what this is all about. But yeah, I'm curious about this, and I will try to keep my eyes peeled for more information when it comes out. Then we got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Again, this is a little bit embroiled in some controversies here, mainly due to the fact of the not so clear response that we had from the creative director, I think, Daniel Vavra, regarding the game romance and the choices that we have, if it is mandatory or not. But it seems, again, I don't know. I only watched this review from Fexor Life, and they didn't focus any kind of those issues. Usually, they tend to focus more on the game itself, on gameplay systems, replayability, the value of the game, if there is bugs or not, and all that jazz. They don't focus too much on what is covered in other places regarding. It's not the drama, but the situation regarding these kind of things with DI injected games and stuff like that. They usually don't cover that, and they try to stick and focus more on game systems, story, and all that jazz. They don't even mention on the written article. It's basically the the script for the video review usually. They don't even mention anything regarding romance or anything. They approach the choices and the consequences that those choices can have. But yeah, they overall go more about the technical level of the game itself. For example, audio, visuals, and design, replayability, and they give a final thoughts. They thought this game is pretty good. Again, this is more kind of I usually like their reviews because they try to focus more on what the game is trying to be on a technical level more than anything else. So we have kind of at least a different point of view here. But yeah, wait for reviews and commentaries if you're hesitant in buying this game. For me, usually this kind of medieval simulator kind of a game, it's not usually too much on my vibe. But again, if it is coming to be a pretty good game, I might want to try it out one of these days. But yeah, I will leave the link in the for this review if you want to check it out. Then we got here other stuff here. Again, it seems that with this DEI and Jedi and all those acronym mafia people, you seem to be fail upwards because now Dragon Age of Veilguard, the director Corinne Busche, was hired by Wizards of the Coast for Skeleton Key Studios after leaving BioWare. Again, this person single-handedly basically destroyed the game with, given that it was the ultimate responsible person regarding how this game will came out. But yeah, I didn't highlight too much here. It's mainly to focus on the failing upwards with these kind of things. And Wizards of the Coast themselves, they are already embroiled in certain things. With I think Wizards of the Coast are the guys that do the D&D kind of stuff there. Yeah, it doesn't seem to me that this is going to be in a good direction here. We already had a lot of D&D things that now orcs are not bad. It's not a bad race. We have a lot of diversity in everything, and all that jazz. That completely trying to erase what Dungeons and Dragons supposed to be. But yeah, fell upwards with this kind of philosophy to, I will assume, bring down Wizards of the Coast. Again, we'll have to wait and see how this it will eventually go about. But yeah, something to follow up here on failing upwards in any kind of industry when we have this acronym mafia trying to command direction and philosophies here. Then we got also a little bit of Ghost of Yotei. Funny enough, the first time I watched the trailer, because I never played the first one, I don't know exactly what the story of the first game is. I was kind of curious to see what this Ghost of Yotei was all about because the trailer itself seemed fine to me, even though we all recognize this is like a woman, even though the first protagonist was a male. I was intrigued, let's say, by this, but afterwards, after this came out, and the fact that people that played the game and thought that the second game, the Ghost of Yotei, should be at least a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, or at least something related with Jin Sakai. I think it's the first, yeah, Jin Sakai, because everybody seemed to love that character and the path and the journey that it takes throughout the first game. Yeah, people were starting to question why this decision of going in this direction, given that they had a good main character that was very seemed very complex and goes through an interesting journey. At least that's my perception. Then we kind of saw everything, the floodgates open, especially with this. I don't know, sick person. I don't know how to this Erika Ishii, which is basically the voice actor and the the one that did the motion capture also for this character. Again, she's completely insane. Um, Again, with this ideology that they are the victim of everything and they feel entitled to whatever. But yeah, and this piece of news comes more about the writing staff here. Some of the writers, some of them work. It's kind of a mixed bag, it seems. Thomas Hart, I think, and Courtney Woods, they joined Sucker Punch Productions. They seem to be some of them, some of their projects, given that they work both of Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, Dragon Age of Veilguard because they were in BioWare, but also they work in a couple of the good games. Mass Effect 2 and 3, even though 3 it's not an uplift in terms of quality from 2. But then again, the fact that they were writers in good and bad games, we don't know the extent of the influence of their own words, of their own written words on those games. So it's kind of a mixed bag. We'll see how it goes. If it's going to even get worse in terms of, again, I think it will deteriorate the quality of writing because I think Ghost of Tsushima was very well praised also for their quality of writing. But yeah, I don't think this is going to come out very well, and the fact also that the first the alpha version, let's say, of this game was to be exactly a sequel, a direct sequel for Ghost of Tsushima, and the fact that they mid pre-production or whatever on whatever stage they just completely shift out of nowhere, and basically it's what we got here with Ghost of Yotei. They changed the main character, put it 300 years later, and make it kind of a bounty hunter kind of a thing, making I don't know, Ronin, badass female here. But yeah, yeah, they completely shift out of nowhere. But yeah, um, this is not good news. But even though the fact that they have writers that it's kind of a mixed bag here in terms of quality on the projects that they work, I don't think this game is going to be getting getting any better feedback from what we are seeing here. Um, but yeah, I think this is going to be a huge dud again, and I think this trend will continue. It will come down the trend of coming out with this kind of um, acronym mafia influenced games on especially on AAA publishers. It will tone down, but there are going to be some remnants of some studios that are going to be very proud of launching these games, which it it's not that I have anything regarding some things that they aspire with, especially inclusion and diversity by itself. But if you need to, for you to include and to have more diverse things, ideas, people, at the cost of excluding others, it's not going to solve any situation that you think that you're trying to solve. And the fact that by itself it doesn't bring up the quality of writing on the games themselves, and even on the acting part of things, and even on the themes that it's trying to approach, it's not going to increase the quality there on the works. We got the same, we got Concord, we got Suicide Squad, the Justice League, we got the Unknown Nine game, which was a shit show. We got the other one that I completely forgot. We got Dustborn, which is completely insane. It seems like a showcase of mental illness on these people that work on those games. And there is another couple of games that I don't remember the names of, but yeah, we've been seeing sloppy games coming out, and perform and their performance in terms of sales is being poor, and hopefully who is in charge can steer the ship around and starting clean up house of bad workers, and start putting competent people on their projects. But yeah, let's go for some gaming deals to wrap up this episode. We got Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess is 20% off. There is a demo here for you to try out to see if you like this kind of game. There is also Miasma Chronicles, 45% off. This is kind of a considered a spiritual sequel of Mutineer Zero Road to Eden, which is a game I did a gameplay series on. Very interesting. It's good game. This one I don't know, but I will eventually buy it and make make a series out of it because I'm interested. I like this kind of games, turn-based combat games. I usually like this. It's in line with XCOM kind of style games. I always enjoy these kind of games. Then we got still Death Stranding. Director's Cut is the way to go for sale, 50% off. We got 80s. Seems to be an excellent game. The second one seems to deviate a little bit of, I don't know, in terms of story and the such here. But yeah, this one is a pretty good one. A good success of early access on Steam. 60% off at this point in time. Then we got No Man's Sky. Again, excellent game, 60% off. We got Citizen Sleeper. It's kind of a CRRPG, which kind of a dice thing here, which is very interesting, and it's 70% off. Again, very cheap. Seems to be a very interesting game. If you like this kind of stuff. We got also Hogwarts Legacy. Now it's 70% off. Best-selling game of 2023. I think there's going to be DLC somewhere down the road, plus some upgrade versions here. But yeah, you got 70% off on the base game. Then you got Resident Evil franchise is still on sale. I will leave all the Resident Evil games on the description, so you can pick and choose the games that you want to complete your collection with. And then you got Red Dead Redemption 2, 75% off. Again, very cheap. It's one of those games that I will probably try out, even though we got the app from Rockstar that you need to get around here. But yeah, it seems very interesting, this game. I'm very curious about this game. I kind of like kind of the settings of GTAs and open world areas when you have roam around and waste your time per se. But yeah, lose yourself on the environment itself. They usually create good worlds, and I think this is the latest case from Rockstar. But yeah, I'll wrap up and finish up the episode here with a plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support at this moment in time is more for me to try and find a better storage solution, so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.